Hello and welcome to West Country Wanderings, and welcome back to the Malverns. This is the third video I've done in the Malvern Hills area. I'm on Castle Morton Common in the county of Worcestershire. We're about 6 miles to the south of the town of Great Malvern. Excuse the geese in the background. And about 10 miles to the south of the city of Worcester. We're here, the Malvern Hills to my left, and we're going to hear for a walk today on Castle Morton. Behind me here we've got the wonderful mill pond. Looks like a painting. Those geese are getting really noisy, I know, so I'm probably going to have to move my location, but I'm going to start the walk up towards where we left off before, just below British Camp, where we were last time when we were here on the Malvern Hills, and do a circular walk, and I'll insert some maps so you can see where we're heading to today. Anyway, you're most welcome here on the walk, here on West Country Wanderings. So specifically today we're at Hollybed Common, and together with Coombe Green Common and Castle Morton Common, they make up the former range of the Malvern Chase, an area of medieval unenclosed land here in the Malvern Hills in Worcestershire. Well, I say Worcestershire because parts of the Malvern Hills of course lie in Herefordshire, and if you climb up to the top, which is what we're going to be doing onto the ridge shortly, you'll be able to see across into deepest Herefordshire too. So looking there across to the Cotswold Hills, of course, be familiar with that from my Cotswold Way series which we did last year. So that's the Cotswold Escarpment going all the way across over towards Breedon Hill, which is somewhere over there. I think it's just about there on the screen now. Just slightly left of the centre is the peak of Breedon Hill. So making my way from Hollybed Common towards a place called Huntsbridge and then Barrow Downs to make our way climbing up the side of the Malvern Hills to get to the ridge. It's called County Ridge on the top, which is the dividing line between Worcestershire and Herefordshire. So we've got a bit of a walk on that way. It's not a particularly long walk today in total. I made it circular on the OS map. On the route that I've done, it's saying it takes about 2 hours, and we'll also enjoy the views when we get to the top, of course, because that's always the highlight in the Malvern Hills. Yeah, so you've got unenclosed land here. You've got full rights of way across all of it, because it's one of those rarer bits of areas in Great Britain which is edged with brown on the OS map, which means you can walk anywhere on this former common, which was once part of Malvern Chase, as I say, back in medieval times. But yeah, today was an unplanned outing because the weather had decided to turn tomorrow. I'd done some chores this morning, and this afternoon, well, it was too good to waste. Beautiful day in mid-October, so I thought, why not do a walk in the Malvern Hills? Magnificent colours here today. Of course, with the autumnal colours have started, but not deep colours yet, but you've just got those hints of yellows and browns, russet browns, and that's contrasting nicely with the colour of that cottage just in the lee of the hill there. Fabulous. I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but the Malvern Hills are actually this part of Worcestershire. My favourite part of the entirety of the area that I cover on West Country Wandering. Some of you may be surprised by that. You're probably thinking it would be a Cornish beach or a Devon moor. And I do, you're right, I do love all those places. I particularly like the Lizard, the Roseland Peninsula in Cornwall. I love Dartmoor and Exmoor. Of course, we will be coming to feature those a lot more in West Country Wanderings. But because of where I live now in Gloucestershire, they're really difficult to do as a day trip. Even more difficult to do as a half-day trip that all I had that was spare was the afternoon. And it's only about 45-50 minutes this part of Worcestershire from where I live in Gloucestershire, so it's an easy journey. But that's not the reason. It's not the accessibility is not the reason why I like this area so much. To me, it really sings to my heart. There's something spiritual about it, and I think I've said before that these are some of the oldest hills, if not the oldest range of hills in England. I can't remember the exact how old, 500 million, something like that. and that I just feel like a deep spiritual connection to this part of the landscape. And obviously it resonated with painters and composers like Elgar and Holst, who lived Holst, Cheltenham, Elgar, that way between Malvern and Worcester, of course, and they were regular visitors to this part of the world too. There is something well worth mentioning in terms of accessibility. I don't mean closer to where I live now, but in terms of able to get up there. So if you're not an experienced mountain walker or anything like that at all, they are accessible because they are not too steep. What is it? The highest peak, Worcestershire beacon, is 380 feet. I'm not sure, something like that. I'll put that in bottom. And as you come a bit further to the south, the overall height of them decreases, of course. So it makes them less demanding in terms of walking, and you don't have to do huge walks to see the best of them. I mean, if you're going into places like the Brecon Beacons, the Black Mountains, into places in the Lake District, you need to take a full day to get up there, and you need to take lots of kit with you because the weather could change short notice. But here, though the weather conditions can change, they don't tend to change as rapidly as they do. You know, the parts like Dartmoor is a classic example where the mist can suddenly descend here. There, should I say, not here. But as I say, this is my favourite part of the West Country Wanderings region, and I will, of course, be covering the parts of it, like Exmoor and Dartmoor, in future videos, and you compare. I'd love to know what your favourite areas. I think I did a poll when I did the Facebook group West Country Wanderings. Check that out, not seen that, a little while ago, and it was quite an even split across Cornwall, Devon, Somerset, Gloucestershire, Worcestershire in terms of the favourite counties that people like in the southwest and the west, and there wasn't like a clear winner as such, but love to know. Let me know in the comments on this video or on the Facebook group, what is your favourite county or part of a county, because obviously each county is quite large. Like, for example, Cornwall is quite a huge, and Devon's even bigger, of course. So what is your favourite part within those counties, and why would you say that would be the case? What is it you like about a particular area or landscape? And the other reason I love the Malvern Hills so much is because they're so quiet. It can become very busy at Worcestershire Beacon and Herefordshire Beacon, particularly during the summer holidays, bank holidays, weekends, that sort of thing. But outside of those two key peaks, even during the weekends, it's very, very quiet. In fact, today, since I've left this little car park by the mill pond back down at Hollybush Common down there, I haven't seen one other person out walking along these paths here at all, and it's quite delightful and peaceful, quiet, apart from the occasional shotgun, shall I say, just over that way. It's echoing across the quarry. So that's the main expanse of Castle Morton Common, which is the third of the three triage, if you like, of commons here that formerly made up Malvern Chase. That heads you back down to places like Welland, I've forgotten the name of the village now, Welland down in that part, which we've covered before, and also down towards the River Severn. But we're going to make our way up the road for a short way and diverge off to the right. It is a very quiet road. In fact, I'm not even sure this is a through road at this point. It's possibly a no-through road. This is where I parked my car last time to start off on Malvern Hills too, when I did Herefordshire Beacon and went off in that direction. But this time we're going to make our way directly up and then kind of turn in a southerly direction before making a big circular loop. That arrived at the main Castle Morton car park. And just to bear in mind, if you do come to this car park to do the walk, you do need to pay. I'm just going to check out the fee. So you've got out of that one. No, it's actually out of order. But it normally will cost you £4.80 for the day, for a day's parking doing the walk. But as I say, if you park down Hollybush there, it's free. As we're leaving Castle Morton car park and walked us there across from the other one, this is where our climb to the top ridge of the Malvern Hills begins in earnest. So probably won't do too much pieces to camera on this bit, because I'm sure you don't want my slightly puffy breath. Well, not that unfit, but I'm sure you don't want me breathing. So I'll catch you a bit further up and then we'll check out the views. And when we get to the top, I will put on my telephoto lens and we'll have a look at the views again properly. So now come up to this delightful disused quarry, long time disused, driven by the vegetation and tree growth in it. It's probably maybe early 19th century, if not before that. Our track goes round the back of the quarry up towards Shire Ditch, which is the main dividing line between the two counties of Worcestershire and Herefordshire. What a magnificent view. Might be able to make out two churches. The one to the left of your screens, kind of a more oblong shaped one, is the parish church of the village of Welland. And the one slightly to the right of centre, we've come across this one before. Anybody guess? Spire shaped church, rebuilt towards the end of the 19th century. Yes, that's the one at Upton-on-Severn. And of course, I've done a video on that. I'll be back there again. Well, I don't know when, but at some point, heading south along the Severn Way. And as it says there, Danger Deep Quarry, it certainly is. Big drop down there. I can't get a shot of that because I'd have to get the camera over the top of the barbed wire. I don't want to snag myself or the camera. Take my word for it. It's a long way down there. We're going to make our way at the top there. I don't know when this one closed. It looks like a more of a 20th century type quarry. I'm not sure when that one closed, but looks like I can see the top of the ridge. And there's a monument which I did do a feature on last time when I was doing Malvern Hills 2, Herefordshire Beacon. We'll see if we can get up closer to the base of that one here today. Coming to the top now, and where those trees are, see where my finger is, that's where we started to walk, somewhere around there by that cottage. You can see the autumnal trees. That there, where my finger's gone along, is called the Golden Valley, as well as Hollybrook Common. And you can see why it's golden this time of year. Not deep valley, but picturesque and beautiful nonetheless. And in that direction, just to the left of the diagonal slope of the Malvern Hills, is of course the city of Worcester. You can make out one tall spire. I don't know if that's the cathedral or not. It's a little bit too far away to see that, but you can certainly make out 3 or 4 other spire churches in that lovely city here in Worcestershire. Who needs Google satellite view when you got this view from the top of the Malverns? So the quarry, the large quarry with the fence on it, was just down in that direction over there. It says on this little sign here you can't actually get through, or you can, because the path curves right down below it. We're making our way over towards the obelisk at Midsummer Hill and then curving our way back towards where I parked my car today on the common down there. But yeah, up here it's just fantastic today. I'm glad I came this afternoon because next few days, well possibly for an entire week, we've got a lot of mixed weather. It's certainly going to be a lot cloudier and we have some rain as well on some of those days. So I thought I'd take advantage coming up here today. I'm certainly glad I did. Couldn't have got any clearer views than what you have up here today. That's the monument, Midsummer Hill, which is owned by the National Trust, the hill. That's where we're heading, in that general direction over there. And that over there is into Herefordshire, looking towards the direction of the town of Ledbury, though I can't quite make out Ledbury itself, but a very, very wooded part of Herefordshire. And that clump of trees there, a very famous hill in this part of the world, in Worcestershire and Gloucestershire and Herefordshire, 3 counties, is May Hill. So now we're in a wooded section, making our way to Midsummer Hill. I'll take the hat off because you won't be able to see me. There we go, that's better. Be all shadow in here, won't it? But yeah, beautiful autumnal colours, and it's just been the quality of the light today which has really, really struck me, particularly on the top there. But it's nice to have a bit of woodland here to break up the views from the top. Well, anyway, we're going to continue through the woodland and cross over, a bit bright there, sorry about that if it went overexposed. Cross over towards that and then head up onto the National Trust. Most of the land is actually owned by, or looked after by, the Malvern Hills Conservators, but the next bit we go on to is National Trust. So just the other side of that there is the edge of the autumanl Castle estate in Herefordshire. So I'm now in Herefordshire, making my way back up towards Shire Ditch, the dividing line between the 2 counties. Yeah, I didn't actually realise, it doesn't make it clear on the map, that that is autumanl Castle property. Although they do allow you to walk across the estate. autumanl Castle itself is a private castle and it's well worth visiting. I've not done it for the channel. I had been there a couple of times previously, some time ago, and one not so long ago, but before I started the channel here on West Country Wanderings. So we'll probably do that in some future video because it's well worth looking at. So there is our monument. It is actually on the autumanl Castle estate. We can get to it, but I'm not going to have time to go right up to it today, unfortunately, because we need to make our way up to top of Midsummer Hill, which is, as I say, National Trust property. So hopefully when we do the castle as a separate video, I'll try and include it then. And here we're looking right across into Herefordshire. So now there's our monument again. To the left of that there's a television radio transmitter, and that's near a village called Fownhope. Not far from the River Wye actually, between Ross-on-Wye and Hereford. And beyond that, you're across towards Haybluff and the Brecon Beacons in Wales. So there's the monument again. Excuse the noise in the background because they're cutting trees down there. And to the left of the monument you should now be able to make out the grandeur that is autumanl Castle. So we're now on the top of Midsummer Hill. We have a little memorial there to Mr. Summer. He dedicated it to his son who was killed in the First World War. I'll get you a shot of that, but all of this land here is now owned by the National Trust. In fact, he gifted it to the National Trust, I think in the 1920s, and I believe Summer has a connection both to that monument and autumanl Castle, and I'll drop that in below here. The other thing to note here, just like British Camp, there is a substantial earthwork here, and this was a fort way back over 2,000 years ago, in fact 4,000 years ago should I say, 2000 BC. This was a fort here on the top of Midsummer Hill. Amazing sight here, beautiful views all around down towards May Hill that way, right into the Herefordshire folds of land over there, extended into the Welsh Brecon Beacons, and then towards Herefordshire and Worcestershire Beacon behind me. At the moment I'm in Herefordshire. Well, if I just cross over there by that little memorial there on the top of Midsummer Hill, it takes me back into Worcestershire again. The Malverns don't actually end at Midsummer Hill. They still continue their way south, some way down, so they're quite a range of hills. I can't remember the total length, probably about 9 or 10 miles. That one there, the next one south, the next beacon south, is Ragged Stone Hill. And the Malvern Hills ends over there at Chase End Hill, which is obviously a lot lower in altitude, and I'll drop in the altitude of Chase End and Ragged Stone, but they're the next two. So if we come back here again, and I'm sure we will, the Malvern Hills, because I absolutely love it here. Maybe it's a bit of self-indulgence, but it's been beautiful with the light here today. But yeah, we'll make our way down to those two next time, perhaps have a circular walk taking in both those peaks. Excuse the noise from the tree cutting here, but this is the monument the Reverend H.L. Summers, I said Mr. Summers, I forgot, Reverend H.L. Summers gave to the people of Worcestershire and Herefordshire, because this is in both, to the people of Worcestershire and Herefordshire and to the National Trust in memory of his son, as I say, who died in the First World War. We'll just have a quick look around the other side of it. This is the other side of the little shelter here that he actually gave, dedicated to the people in this area, and he gave it to the National Trust in 1923. Yeah, I'm not sure the purpose of this grating, maybe to keep sheep out, but perhaps they could get across there, but you can certainly step across it. And it's a wonderful little windbreak and shelter. Don't really need it today because it's a beautiful day, getting a little bit chilly now, hence the jumper come on. But yeah, so thank you, Reverend H.L. Summers, should I say, for giving this in tribute to your son who died in the First World War. But it's a wonderful windbreak and shelter if it was raining, but thankfully not today on this beautiful day here in the Malvern Hills. So we're going to continue our journey south now to the little hamlet of Hollybush, and then make our way a little bit further to the east towards Holybed Common, where we started our circular walk here in the Malverns here today. Well, I've almost made it back to the mill pond here, which is just down over in that direction where my car is parked. And you can certainly see, now I've come back here, and you've got the lower angle of the sun, exactly why this part of the common is called the Golden Valley, and it truly is. I feel really privileged to be here on such a wonderful evening with this beautiful range of autumnal colours. I hope you've enjoyed our walk here, the third in the Malvern Hills in Worcestershire and parts of Herefordshire today. We will be back in the Malvern Hills at some future point. But before then, there'll be lots of other videos on my channel, including a continuation of the Severn Way, and there'll also be other videos coming up on railways, canals, and some more content from Devon and Cornwall and Somerset too. So I hope you can join me on the channel for that. Until next time, look after yourselves, take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you on West Country Wanderings again soon. All the best for now. Cheers. Bye-bye.